Welcome to the bite-sized video for the Digital Business Service T-Level, where we'll explore Task 2 for the Data Technician Occupational Specialism. The Data Technician OS consists of 4 task-based assignments with a total duration of 29 hours, designed to assess the 6 performance outcomes shown, each of which indicate the knowledge and skills required to enable students to achieve threshold competence in the chosen occupational specialism. For each performance outcome, there will be a list of knowledge and skills. The knowledge statements show what the students need to know, and the skills are what the students need to perform. Some of this content will build upon the content delivered in Year 1. The occupational specialism will be assessed through a series of synoptic assignments which have been designed to be as occupationally realistic as possible and are externally set by NCFE. Now, this video will focus on Task 2, and Task 2 will involve cleansing and blending data. Task 2 is split into 2 parts over 4 sessions that occur on a fixed date and time specified by NCFE. The dates for each task can be found in our key date schedule. Now, Task 2 will be completed in 2 AM and 2 PM sessions over 2 days, totaling 10 hours. Students are free to manage their time as they see fit when completing the task. If students have any access arrangements or reasonable adjustments, such as additional time for assessments, then you should apply that internally and increase the task time by the relevant amount. Students will need access to the following resources in order to complete the tasks. In the first part of the task, students need to cleanse, blend, manipulate, and merge data sets into one single data set. The second part will require some further manipulation to be performed, and throughout both parts, students will need to log their decisions they have made with justifications. As internet access isn't permitted for this task, do remember that if you use online data apps, then these will need to be accessible offline too. Now, Task 2 is split into 2 parts worth a total of 52 marks. The marks are divided between the skills and knowledge performance outcomes shown. Performance outcome 2 and 3 address both parts A and B, with the descriptors for performance outcome 1. There is one applicable to part A only, which is how appropriate the data chosen is for the client's needs. Performance outcome 2 has more marks allocated, which is students' ability to blend data from multiple sources, identifying the data which is appropriate for blending, use of manipulation to blend the data sets into clean, unified structure that's verified and without any errors. Students will have a total of 10 hours to use the information in the scenario brief and task instructions to complete a written proposal. Now, the specific requirements and scenario will change each series, and students will need to consider the client's aims when producing their decision log. This log will contain the steps or decisions that students decide to make, and students should include justifications for the choices made. Now, this can include the variables they've considered, any errors in the data and how this was addressed, what fields could be used for the different keys, any calculations and formatting done, and why. Now, Part A will always require students to create a single data set from a selection of data sets provided by NCFE. The skills associated with cleansing and blending data from different sources have been considered essential for threshold competence by industry experts. The specific requirements and scenario will change each series, and students will need to consider the client's aims when producing their log. This log contains the steps or decisions that students decide to make, and students should include justifications for the choices made. And this could include the variables they've considered, any errors in the data and how this was addressed, what fields could be used for the different keys, any calculations and formatting done, and then why. Task 2B will ask students to perform further manipulations and combinations, such as preparing the single data set created for combining with an existing relational database. The decision log will need to be updated with the actions and decisions made for this part of the task. The specifics to include will be stated on the brief for the students, such as the normalization form of this new database, identifying the primary, foreign, and alternative keys, explaining what they did to the data, such as reformatting, moving irrelevant information, and any data validation rules used. Now, the example shown is from one of our free resources, Performance Outcome 1, which asks students to produce databases to store grades. But this could be adapted for further purposes with different industries, such as healthcare and fields like patient's name, NHS number, name of GP, height or weight of patient, and the blood type. Or the activity could be extended so you could provide an objective for the students to work towards. So keeping the original activity theme of a college grade database, this could be further developed to where the college wants to connect the grading database with their contact database so that they could easily post or even text out exam grades to parents. Then to have the students consider legislation, practices and security in relation to sharing such information via text. It's also essential that students make the information relevant to the brief and the aims, so the more exposure to different scenarios, the better. We do hope you found this information useful and have a better understanding of Task 2, and do see the other bite-sized videos that form part of this occupational specialism series. Please do scan the QR code to leave feedback. Thank you.